Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the Screenwriting Step-by-Step Project, episode 196, step 196. My name is Glenn Gers, and I come to you every Monday through Friday, if I can make it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to let you look over my shoulder, share my screen as I write a script. I'm doing this to teach a part of screenwriting that I think is under-taught, which is just the step-by-step, scene-by-scene, line-by-line process of writing. I'm not trying to show you what's a great script. I'm not trying to show you what script will sell. I'm just trying to say when you write a script, the process is usually roughly the same, and it's basically the thing that every screenwriter has to hang on to as they work on different types of projects, in different types of circumstances. The only thing that you really have to hold on to is the process. Breaking things down into scenes, working out an outline, putting down that rough draft, figuring out how to rewrite it. That process is the same every time you do it, or the same-ish. So that is what I'm letting you do. I'm letting you watch me walk through it in case it is helpful. You do not have to watch every step. You don't have to watch every episode. That is a lot of time, and you will get from this plenty if you just watch here and there. Drop in now and then, check it out, see what you're getting. The real thing I urge you to watch is the other videos on my channel in the first 3 playlists on the channel. Screenwriting Essentials, Screenwriting Tools, Skills, and Craft, and The Process, Being a Writer. As you see, each one of those has a thumbnail with a great big word or phrase that talks about what the topic is. Flashbacks, genre, dramatic action. These are the things that I tried to boil down to 10-minute lessons. Very simple videos with just the basic insights and tools and skills that I think show up no matter what kind of writing you want to do. You want to do an artsy indie, you want to do a big comic book thing, that's okay. Each of these are, I think, principles that basically apply to the idea of how you write, not how to write good. Not my problem. Everybody has their own definition of what's good. I don't want to tell you how to write. I don't want to tell you anything. If you are finding something that works for you, do that. There are no rules except be productive, be healthy, and keep at it. That's the rules of writing. That's how you be an artist. Okay, so that's it. This is not the only way to do it. There's lots of ways to do this. I'm just showing you the way that I learned in my 25-year career writing TV and movies. There was very little how-to stuff when I started out, and I had to teach myself. And I found that the things that I was teaching myself, I thought, somebody else coming up might want them. I don't see anybody else saying what I'm saying, so I'm trying to say it and leave it to you to figure out how to do it as you want to do it. Okay. Hi, Natasha. Hi, Kirby. Hi, Jean. We are going to get to work on rewriting because that's where I am. I am at the phase where I wrote an outline. I wrote a rough draft. I did a rewrite of the rough draft. When I was reading through the first draft, honestly, it's never the first draft until you feel like you've gone through it enough to show it to other people. And seriously, that's usually the 5th or 10th draft. So the first rewrite, I was trying to summarize it. And when I was summarizing it, I realized there was a big structural problem that I have to fix. So now I am doing a rewrite about that. That is where we are in our journey. What I'm doing here is I'm going through the outline. The parts of the outline that I don't feel are right yet, I'm putting in these colors so I can say what needs to be done here to make it work. Hi, Jenny. Good to see you. Welcome. Good evening to you. I know that it is night. Ellen, how you doing? You got a break from teaching today. I am glad to see you back. Welcome back. We are rewriting. Hello, this is Kitschy. We are figuring out, we're not rewriting everything. Oh, Maria's here too. Wow, we got the whole crew showing up. And hello to you too. So here's what we're doing. This script is actually getting into pretty good shape, except for one thing. There is a character arc of the group. Within this group, there's several sub-arcs, and those they aren't good enough. They are okay. I could probably get away with it, but this is what happened. I realized a different way to do it. I don't know why I didn't realize it 3 drafts ago, but I didn't. And this is the thing. Sometimes you will get a note or you'll think of an idea and you'll be like, this could be better this way, and you'll feel iffy about it. Sometimes you will think a thought or hear an idea and you'll be like, I'll never be able to unthink that. It's better. That's where I am. So I have to do this, even though I didn't really want to. And, it's turning out to be not that bad. It's really a count of... The thing I always want to do is, can I count the number of scenes I have to fix? If it's like 50, I'm in trouble. In this case, it's about 8 or 9. And the problems are not that big a deal. So let me see. Is there anything up here? No, you see, we're in good shape until this. So first of all, I have to, there's 3 characters whose subplot moments I have to change. The one that I really love is, originally we met McLean in a gym and he was trying to meet a guy, and instead of, because of his compulsive analytical thinking, he scared the guy off. I want to keep that scene, but I don't want to have it be in the gym because he should be traveling. He was, it's interesting. So what I need to do here is like figure out, he lives in New York. He's not that far from the crime scene, from Pennsylvania. So he can drive there. Hi, Rachel. Which means he didn't have to leave till, when did he leave? If he's getting there in the morning, or maybe he shouldn't. Maybe he should get there later. Here's the thing. Somebody should show up right as the scene happens. So, you know what? That's an interesting... We've got like several steps where these people can arrive, and they should arrive staggered so that it's kind of a comedy of accumulation, a comedy of, this is getting worse. Oh no, it's getting even worse. That's the vibe I want for this story, which means somebody can show up right there. The question is, should it be McLean or should it be Ted? Which means what I need here is a scene of, yes, see, I asked this question yesterday. Scene of McLean deciding to go. All right. Hello, Orphe. Yeah, I know. What's up, everyone? Virtual hug to you all. So I need to think up new scenes for these possible event scenes that I've got here. Where is Ted coming from? How is he traveling? Apparently there's only one Ellen traveling. We'll see about that. And then the question is, see, the thing about this scene as it was originally was McLean was fine. Was losing a romantic opportunity, and that was simply an insight into him. Is there any way to tie that into him deciding to leave? Summer break for Ellen. Congratulations. Ellen is a teacher and therefore is never here at 3 o'clock LA time, but now she is. Congratulations, Ellen. You got a break. All right. So let's look at these characters. What do we see of them when? The first time we see them, they are all on a Zoom. And so we only get a sense of where they are, where they work, or what they're like. And then we don't see them again until the next morning. I like the idea of, okay, if he's not in transit, did he get here like, this is the first time we're getting to meet McLean in his life. This can go two ways. Either we can see him getting to work or telling his boss he's not going in, and then he meets someone, fumbles a romantic meeting. Or we see him fumbling the romantic meeting, and then he decides. The problem is that those two things are really completely unrelated. Unless, see, because here's the thing. We've got two people here. We've got McLean, and McLean could be arriving in the town in the morning, and he could meet Dundosky. He could show up and say, like, hey, I decided to get here. And then he could start analyzing Dundosky. Still not romantic. But it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea to bring those two together. They've never actually physically met. The problem is he's not a stranger. And so McLean wouldn't be intuiting things on a complete stranger. And that's really the great thing about that scene. So unless he's going to take a train or something, maybe he's not going to drive. And so he's like at the train station. In which case, it's McLean calling in to work to say he's got something else to do. And he's doing this from a train station where he flirts with and scares off a guy. That's not bad. That ain't bad at all. I can see that working. Yeah. Okay. Which means we could add Ted and Dundosky. You know what? I think that is a definite. That's definite. That's not a question. That is a thing to do. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. So now, you know what this is? It's not even. I'm not even going to put that there. I'm not going to call it that. It's too much. These are actually good, just little scenes at this point. They're scenes. They are scenes. That's good. Although I'm going to leave this because this is a scene that doesn't exist yet. So just in order to tell myself, like, I have to, like, this is basically a working scene. She's at work. I really like the scene that I've already got. So Ted, the conspiracy theorist. Let's take a moment to think about Ted. I think I'm going to step out here to my notes. I'm going to start a new day's work because it is another day. Okay, so Ted, the conspiracy theorist. The thing about him is he's got to be annoying. That's the key. Hi, Bill. You know, if you are writing a screenplay about finding a YouTube video 7 minutes too late, the rights of that belong to you because I'm writing a different story. You are welcome, and I'm really glad you're here. What I'm doing is I'm trying to rewrite a subplot, a secondary character, actually like a tertiary, third character. But I need to so I need to weave him into an existing decent script. The script is in pretty good shape, but this guy is not. Okay, so we have a couple of scenes about him. We have on the Zoom call. Then we have him the morning of, and then we have him at the big final confrontation. Okay, so here's what I don't know. All I know about this guy is he's annoying. And now let's think about what that means. How is he annoying? The specific way is that he has no sense of reality. No sense of reality. He is convinced everything is connected. Now, this is actually at this point in our culture a classic stereotyped character. What do I want to do about that? The classic conspiracist. He hungers for connection and meaning because of despair, trauma. That's possible. Or do I want to do something else with it? See, he's not just bored. Like he's actually driven. That's the thing about this guy. This is not just, oh, this is kind of fun. Okay, so the question is he the classic conspiracy? Hungers for connection and meaning because what am I doing with this guy? Where is he headed? Well, first of all, he's probably a murder victim in waiting. Okay, well, the main thing about it is he's annoying. The others don't want him around. Okay? That's the key to him, is that in this group of misfits, he doesn't fit. Ouch. Okay, that's an interesting thing about it. Oh, actually, Bill, not a bad idea. I was thinking about that before. Yeah. Right. Or cashing in. Is he cynically trying to monetize a cultural pain? That's an interesting question. Okay, so no, I mean that's a possible character, but I'm trying to get to the core of his character, not to decorate him in interesting ways. I'm trying to figure out what is his central action. One of the things I try to do is I try to think about dramatic action. I did a video on this called Dramatic Action, which I urge you all to watch. And more than that, that relates to a video I did called Building Character Arcs. And the point of this is any given character has a central thing that they want, that they are driven by, and not necessarily like in the story. Now, what this guy is driven by is making everything into a big conspiracy. So the question simply becomes why? What is driving that? And then, of course, what am I going to do with that? In other words, having identified what his behavior is, what's going to happen to that behavior when it combines with the obsessions or needs of the other people in the story. And I actually think it would be nice. All right, the things I know. Let's get. This is something you should know. When I am writing, I have an outline. And then I have a thing called the overview, which is where I put all the stuff. The outline is only the contents of the story. It is only the scenes. An outline is a list of scenes. Hold on, I bet I wrote that down. Yes. An outline is a list of scenes. That's the most important thing I can tell you about outlines. Everything in a story has to be a scene. There's nothing in a script that isn't somehow within a scene. So the outline is the building blocks of the story. But there's a lot of stuff that doesn't fit into that. That's, excuse me, you want to remember it, but you don't like this, like things that I think this is like, or analysis of the character. And so I need to find, do I even have him in my character list? I don't think I do. George Elmore. I gotta organize this. Okay. McLean, Shrimpton. Yeah, I don't. So we got Cameron. That is a character we have not yet dealt with. And Ted. Ted is a conspiracy theorist. Okay, so what we have here, hang on. Okay, so I want to make sure I don't forget this. This is the thing. When I am working, I try to work. I try to do everything that I can on a page. So I have this document which I call notes, which I use just literally as a scratch pad, as a place to, so that I'm not just saying things and asking questions. I am making sure to, even if I'm literally asking myself a question and writing down the answer, I do it on a page because that way I can't lose it. And if something strikes me as good, then I copy it into one of these other documents, which is where the actual valuable material is. This thing, the notes thing, this is just a sketch pad. It's just a scratch pad. It's a place to scribble thoughts. And if I find one that's valuable, I copy and paste it into one of the places where I want to keep things. So, yes, Ellen, exactly. His motivation doesn't coincide with the others because, and this is where I think I think he is cashing in. I think Bill actually is right about that. He's obsessed with conspiracies because he is trying to monetize a cultural pain, which is this classic of all right. So the thing is, the basic idea about most conspiracy theorists is the idea that in their pain at the disorganization and lack of meaning of the world, they strive to artificially give it meaning, structure. And that's the key to, that's what makes him not just a smart person who's seeing something wrong, but a conspiracy theorist is somebody who is seeing something that isn't there, seeing something that they kind of, even if they're fearing it, wish was there because it's better than chaos. However, so this is, so he is a cynical conspiracy, but he's annoying. The others don't want him around. This is the key to his character in terms of dramatic action, because he is... okay, so this is this guy now. This is... now I know something about him. Okay, that's step one. And the way that can come up is originally, see, and this is kind of tricky. Yes, exactly. The human need for community, no matter how weird the community is. And I argue with some fervency that indeed weird is, we're all weird. Every community looked at properly is weird. And that's cool. So but the thing is, the tricky thing here is people in this group, they don't like him. That's what I'm trying to do is figure out a relationship. Characters are defined by their relationships to other people in the story. You can theorize anything you want about a character. You can say, oh, they were born here and they have this philosophy. If they're not doing it in scenes with other characters, it doesn't exist in the story, and it's just so much thought on your part. I'm going to use a cruder word. So the point is, what's important about this character is he is tolerated by the group, but he is not liked. So that's the first thing I know about him. The next thing I need to know is, where is he coming from and what is he like? For instance, Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. It is, yes, we are all weird. Yep, it's a, thank you. I appreciate the shirt comments. Where is he coming from and what does he like? So what I'm trying to think of is the scenes that we see him in. We see him at home briefly, so that we'll know a little bit about him. And then we see him arriving in the town, and then we see him with the group. So what I'm doing right now is sorting through the people we have. We have Dundosky, who lives a sort of shadowy, shabby, edgy world. He's in a, and then we've got McLean, who lives actually in a polished, high-end world. Got Shrimpton, who's middle class. What I want to make sure is I'm not duplicating. George is already kind of a quirky conspiracy type. And also I want to emphasize that Ted's conspiracy hunger is cynical. Let's see. All right. The first question is, where is he coming from? And the question there is, how is he operating physically? Like, how does he get to this town? This town is, I was just thinking about McLean and how McLean's going to arrive, frankly, probably in a pretty nice rental car. In other words, he's going to rent a car for when he gets out of the train somewhere in Pennsylvania. So what I wanted to make sure is I'm not duplicating anybody. So, I'm also wondering whether Ted shouldn't have a partner, only because it gives him somebody to talk to. Although he's going to talk to... the thing I'm working on here is originally the person who talks about monetizing this whole episode is Shrimpton. And I rather like that she does that, because she has had a certain grounded, she's in this because of the entertainment value, and she has a good sense of real life. And so the idea that she, in a real practical sense, just says, all right, if we're going to do this, I want part of the money, that's really her territory, which would put Ted back into the genuine conspiracy theory types. And truthfully, we don't have somebody like that. Interesting. The usual criticism for conspiracists is they blame external forces that they can answer for the reality of who they are. Yes, that's true. And that is a thought. And that's sort of what I was saying, that a conspiracy theorist is trying to give meaning or order to their experience of life, which is out of order, and they fear either meaningless or has a bad meaning. So yes, exactly. That's the only thing about lives rent-free with his mom is Xena already lives rent-free with her folks. This is one of the main things about writing that's tricky. You can think of stuff, but once you start to write, you narrow off territory. You begin to say, okay, I've already done that, or this rules that out. So the fact that Xena is living rent-free with her folks while upscale means that I don't want to have too many people living rent-free. So, yeah, maybe I'll give him a cap. I don't know. Okay. Hello, Curious Carl. You discovered today. Yes, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much. It was a nearly perfect movie. There are some flaws. Hi, Donna. How are things in Australia? Thank you so much, Curious Carl. I'm really grateful. That is great, and I'm so glad that you found me and that you're here. Okay, well, the gist of this story is 195 hours ago, so 7 minutes, give yourself a break. You wouldn't have known if you showed up on time. The gist of this story is that it's a pilot episode about, I'm probably going to should just put this somewhere, like on the website or something, so because people ask all the time. It's a pilot for a series about, which is sort of a romantic comedy thriller series about a couple of strangers, Madeline and Norman, who get dragged into this group of people who are hunting a serial killer because the group of people have just provoked the serial killer to actually come after them. So it is a romantic comedy thriller about this couple who do not want to hunt serial killers, but because of various circumstances that occur in this pilot, they end up having to join this group because the group is the only thing keeping them from being murdered. So that's the basic idea of the story. And I've already written 2 drafts of it. So what I'm trying to do now is work within the existing script to repair some minor characters who are just not working. And that's where we get to Ted. Ted. Difficult Ted. Is he monetizing? You know what? I'm beginning to think that he is, in fact, a classic conspiracist. So the question then, we will not discover the source of his pain for a while. It is not immediately evident. All right. But this I like still. The idea that he's that he doesn't fit in a group of misfits, that is painful. And that also means I really can't write a character if I don't know where they're going. Which brings me to, if you have not watched this video, the 6 essential questions, it explains how I approach a lot of stuff. The questions are these. So the question is, what does Ted want? What Ted wants is to find a secret organizing answer to the chaos of life. That's what he wants. Ted wants. So why can't he do it? Because there is none. Why can't he? Because there is none. And then Ted wants, yes. What does he do about it? Refuses to accept that there is none. And then the question is really, how does it end for him? And that's the biggest question. Because until I know where he's going, I don't know how to write it. The important thing about this conspiracy thing is, though, I don't want him to be, there is a comical conspiracy theorist cliche, which I have frankly used before and I like, which is just that like they like every theory. He does not love every conspiracy. He just has one. So the question is, what's the one? What is it? And how does his story end? I would like his story to have an ending, which in some way, makes us not feel contempt for him, because Bill is right about this. It is tough to write someone who is comically, ridiculously wrong sympathetically, but I do believe it's very important to write sympathetically about all of your characters. Yeah, that's actually where I was going, Carl. Exactly. The question is, what is his, like, if he's not the, aha, it's JFK and UFOs and they're all connected, which is just too easy. So yeah, is he paranoid? Is he so that's the question, is what is his style? All right, that is the big question we have to figure out, is what is his style and what is his ending? Those are the two things without which you can't really define a character, for me. It's a ghost. Interesting. That's supernatural, religious. Not impossible. Okay, so all right, well, for the moment, this is going to be something I'm going to have to work on for a while. And in doing that, I need to get to the go. Always when you find yourself like wandering into, like, Ted is going to have maybe 10 lines in this entire script. So I don't want to overthink him, although I do like the idea of thinking him out, because I will have to think about him later for other parts of the story. But in this pilot, he's just got a few beats, a few appearances, and I think so. If he meets Dundosky, who's already there, that brings up that. Then there's a dynamic. There's someone for him to deal with. No, I personally find it helpful to change font colors. I don't change them. I have them preset as styles. Here, hold on. I did a whole video about this. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Well, in how to outline, I talk about this in this outline format. I change the font and the color to distinguish between different types of information. In other words, these are scenes. This is the equivalent of an index card for a scene. This is a scene I have not written yet, have not figured out yet, so I have it in a color because I want to make sure that until it is in this color, I know I've still got work to do. And these are questions, and I want to call attention to them. So I don't find this annoying at all. I find it helpful. Other people don't, and therefore, and you should do whatever you want. I'm not saying you should do what I did. I'm showing you how I do it, because for some people, it's useful to break things up visually. I happen to like breaking things up visually, so that when I just glance at the page, I'm like, this needs attention. So that's what I do. When I have something that I think is basically working, then I do it here in this gray type or in this black type. The stuff that isn't working or isn't fitting in, that's what this is. Yeah. This is true. Actually, here's the thing about Ted that I also have to watch out for. This, and you will have, if you've been watching, you will have seen me do this over and over again. Whatever the expected thing is, like, oh, Ted's a conspiracy theorist, he thinks X, Y, and Z. Part of me is going to say, how can I do the opposite of that? How can I do something different than that? And very often, especially with a minor character, it's not a good idea to make it something that has to be explained and expanded upon. The basic idea here is, if Ted's a conspiracy theorist, maybe I should just use the easy version of conspiracy theories. So I want to watch out for that. The point about this scene, remember, every scene is about an action. The point about this scene is, and Dundosky wishes he would go away. Who wishes he would go away? Okay. Yeah, Bill, if it's not for you, don't do it. No problem. There is no reason. Everyone has to work their own way. I am never saying that this is the right way to do it. I'm just saying this is a thing that I find helpful. That's funny. Well, the only problem with this is that it actually is one of those. That's a thoughtful. That's a. No one takes it seriously because he's nuts. Not a bad idea. Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's a balance. You don't want anyone to be a cliche. You don't want anyone to be seen with contempt. You really don't. You might think you do. It's fun, but it in the long run it undermines your story. In my style, in my opinion. So for me, I think the important thing is that there's almost always an easy version of everything, which you need to grab onto, and then you give that some complexity and depth and shading. But first, make sure that you have not made the complexity and depth and shading so complex that they take up more time than they need. Telling the story is the most important thing, and this I'm going to have to figure out how, but meets. Okay, so here's the deal. Dundosky didn't go home because he knows Xena is coming. He talked to her. He talked to her on the phone last time we saw her. So cool. Yeah. All right. Oops. Accidentally lost a piece there. Okay. Oh, and this, so this, I am just at this point making sure that I am consistent in my, I look at the outline as a things to do list. In other words, in a week or so when I'm doing this writing, when I'm actually writing these scenes, I want to be able to look back at this and go, oh, I've got to do this scene and this scene and this scene. I don't have to do this scene, but I have to write these scenes. So I'm making these notes in such a way that when I glance at them, when I open up this document, as you guys watch me, I'll be like, okay, now I have to write this scene. Zena's getting off the plane. FaceTime. Actually, probably. There we go. Okay, now these are in the right order, and they are actually separate scenes. No, they're kind of not separate scenes. So I'll do this. See? Okay. No, he's not. He's not that important. He's like way down on the importance list. We've got 4 major characters. We've got Madeline, Norman, the 2 heroes, romantic couple, and then we've got a apparent villain, Deakins, the serial killer, and then we've got their Xena, who appears to be their sidekick, but is actually the real villain. So that's plenty to do. So I want to make sure that my main story is dealing with them. Yeah, I'm not when I'm working on the characters. Remember, this is really important. Actually, we're gonna end on this note. Here's the deal. Whenever you're writing, the most important thing to do is not constantly be starting from scratch. Okay, one of the biggest potential problems of amateur writers is they go into all writing just saying, well, what can I do? What can I do here? What can I do here? And they're thinking from a universe of infinite possibilities. But the truth is, when you are writing, once you have made any decision, all other decisions get narrowed off. You don't have infinite choices. You have certain choices because you've made a choice who your main character is, what your main action is, and so therefore the meaning of everything else gets organized around this. I actually did do a video about this called "Use What You Have," and the importance about this is that, and I've seen this with a lot of beginning writers. When you look at a character, you're like, what can I do? You just think from every possibility. Now, often that will come up with cool stuff, but that stuff will be in conflict with the main task of your story, which is to tell the main character's story and the style that you have chosen. If you have chosen to have a certain set of actions, and if you've started with the idea that this is going to be a romantic comedy thriller about these 2 people getting involved in this group, the purpose of this group is now determined by what they are doing to the main characters. Within the group, I now have 6 people in this group. Of that group, each one, because this is a series, I will have room to give them each a decent character. However, they still remain limited in a healthy way, in a exciting way, by their use to the main story. No, I'm not scolding you. I'm leaping on the opportunity here because it's funny. I was just working with a student who is really talented, but every time, like if you give him a note, he goes back and he writes the scene from scratch, and he writes an entirely new version of the scene, which means he's created new, talented, good things and all new problems. So that is one of the easiest things for novice writers to do. And I'm not saying you guys aren't doing that because you're not writing this. I am. So therefore you don't have in your head all the limits that I have set. But the most valuable, exciting thing that a writer can do is make a choice. Because once you make a choice, you're excluding a lot. And then you have to be creative within the territory left. That's the most important thing. I cannot emphasize enough. Writing is making choices. And every time you make a choice, you are excluding some things. that's the great thing about choices. So when you say, if, like in this case, I've got this group of people who are going to be involved in this story, the main thing that they are there for is to create a place which would provoke this killer to come after them. And then frankly, a lot of their purpose is to get killed off. That's their main use in the story, is we need people to get killed off that aren't our main characters. All right. What song? Don't know. We'll decide later. Yes, the plot does. That is the biggest secret in this story is whodunit, and the answer is it's going to be Xena. So there is an apparent evildoer, and in fact somebody who has done evil but has repented. I like that character, the serial killer. And then there's Xena, who is actually the more evil person because she murdered purely for personal advancement. Yes, exactly. If you make this choice, then these other things happen. Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, it is a math. I'm terrible at math, so I don't think of it that way. I think of it more like I do. I think visually. So I think of it like mapping, or if you're building something, you begin to see the structure. Okay. So this is so cool. I really appreciate. Thank you. Great. I will tell you, luckily, I have a graphic for that. Every Monday through Friday, if I can make it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is, I run from 3 to 4 almost every day. Sometimes things come up in my life and I can't make it, and, then I don't. So that's the schedule. But if most people do not watch these live, and it's okay. It's lovely to have you here. I love to answer questions, but it is completely fine to watch these later, next week, next year, doesn't matter. It will be forever as long as YouTube exists. The channel will be here to watch. No, I do not have actors in mind when I write characters. Sometimes you kind of get actors in mind, and that's okay as long as you don't accidentally describe them in such a way that you are relying on the actor instead of the character, and so then you don't build a good enough character. If you're relying on the actor, like if you have a certain character and this, like, Cary Grant or Audrey Hepburn or George Clooney or Diane Keaton, whoever it is, they have a certain essence, essential style, you don't want to just rely on that. You still want to give that characteristic style a meaning, a personal drive, because for one thing, they're not going to play it. I actually have a friend who always uses dead actors in order to make sure that he's not accidentally leaning on them too much. Because if you write for a dead actor, then no matter who does it, they're going to have to translate into themselves. Actors have to translate into themselves. They have to find in the character their own choices, their own feelings. And the most important thing you can do is not try to act for them, not give it some little characteristic that's their trademark thing or style, because that's superficial. That's the result of the inner action. And what a good writer is giving the actors and the director is the inner action, the need, the problem, the method of approaching things. Different characters, different actors too, approach things in their own way. Some do it in a kind of thoughtful way. Some do it in a very analytical way. Some do it in a very hyper way. Whatever it is, that method of approaching problems is specific to that character if you've done it right. Okay. Thank you, Robert. So glad. Yeah, click the like button. Why not? Okay, everybody. I got to go. The gardener has begun making a lot of noise outside, so it seems time to stop. And so I will say tomorrow we will do more. Until then, go write something.